Hey guys, Jake here of Downtown Rams. Before we get into the show, I want my listeners to check out Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy has simplified daily fantasy by only asking you about top-tier talent. They have over $50,000 in guaranteed prizes for Week 1 of the NFL season. All you have to do is head on over to your App Store, whether it be Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and grab the Thrive Fantasy app today. Sign up and enter our code DTSN and receive an instant 100% match on your deposit up to $250 now until Sunday. This offer is only for a limited time, so make sure you get it while it lasts and prop up.
Aaron Donald creates the fumble. Ball goes crashing into the end zone.
It is intercepted by Jalen Ramsey.
Robert Wood, touchdown, LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Caught, touchdown, Tyler Higbee. It's Michael Brockers who gets there.
A'Shawn Robinson.
Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air.
Taylor Rapp, who had one taken away, will take this into the end zone.
Henderson with a good run and a first down, still on his feet.
Safety in the arms of Leonard Floyd.
Up top, touchdown, Van Jefferson.
Terrell Lewis. Everett in stride. Wow!
Hit behind the line. Terrell Burgess, 26.
Gets Bryson Hopkins at the goal line and in for his second touchdown. Malcolm Brown into the end zone.
Abu Khan with the strip sack.
Picked off by Troy Hill.
Akers with a stiff arm. Akers into the end zone. Cam Akers.
LA will play for the Lombardi.
Hi guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. I am Alexis Kraft, as always joined here by my co-host Jake Ellenbogen. And that's right, folks. I am doing the intro for the first time on Downtown Rams. Let me know how I did on a scale of 1 to 10. Jake, how was it?
It was good.
Was it better than the first 4 ones that I did that we had to delete?
A lot better, definitely.
Okay, it was a lot safer. Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna be talking about the Rams game last night. And Jake, I'm gonna let you start off with this. The Rams came out, they beat the Cowboys in the home opener, the first game ever at SoFi Stadium. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, Alexis. So, my thoughts, right off the bat, I thought the Rams were better than I thought, and I had them at 11-5 coming in the year. Felt like the defense was really impressive. There wasn't really, kind of like there weren't growing pains. I mean, really, if you think about it, in a sense that you have a rookie defensive coordinator and you only give up 17 points to Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott, Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup. That's pretty impressive. I don't think the Rams have any reason to feel bad about their win, against the Cowboys. Obviously they put up over 400 yards of total offense. So you could have argued, 5 trips in the red zone, only capitalized twice. So you definitely could have argued they could have done more. And the score probably would have been a lot different. But, those are the games where if you win them, you don't really have to learn that painful lesson that hey, you got to, finish the game. And while the Rams weren't perfect, they showed a lot of reason to be optimistic moving forward.
Yeah, and I definitely want to start off talking about the offense, because the offense, to me, obviously played a lot better than the defense. We'll get into the defense later. But the offense, I thought, looked really good. They looked better than I thought they were going to look. And honestly, I think the highlight of the offense in the game last night was the running game. I mean, we looked, on the run. We did the running back by committee, which is kind of what we figured the Rams were leaning towards, where they threw in Brown, Henderson, and Akers. And I thought we did a really good job. And honestly, the reason that we were able to pull that off, the biggest reason, is because our offensive line did their job, which is so refreshing to say. After last season, we really struggled through that offensive line. It went through a lot of changes. They weren't really fluid. It looks like they've completely turned it around, at least so far. We're only 1 game in, obviously, but they looked great to me. And yeah, I mean, I guess the name at running back right now is Cam Akers. We spent a 2nd round draft pick on him. So, what were your thoughts on just how Akers looked?
Yeah, so I mean, Akers looked like a rookie, and I don't think there's anything wrong saying that. He looked smaller than I saw at Florida State, so I don't know if that was just my eyes, perception, whatever. But he definitely didn't look as big of like the back I saw in film. But furthermore, I think at the end of the day, this is somebody that is for the long term. And when you look at Malcolm Brown, it just kind of goes to show you, the Rams have a legit running back in Malcolm Brown. I've said it for a while now. Malcolm Brown was a UDFA out of Texas in 2015. He's stuck on this roster. He's come over from St. Louis. He's with the Rams in LA. And who would have thought, if you told me in 2015, and I'm sure if anybody told you in 2015, that the Rams would be moving from St. Louis to LA, and it would be Malcolm Brown scoring the first Rams touchdown of the new stadium, I would have been a little shocked. I would have thought Todd Gurley. Fast forward a few years, now Todd Gurley's gone. You saw him score a touchdown, with the Falcons. Good for him. But Malcolm Brown was really good in this game. And, he gave the Rams what they needed in a game plan that I think really I want to highlight, because Sean McVay's game plan at the end of the day, he was trying to possess the football a lot longer than the Cowboys. He was trying to, run out the clock, control. And I think they did a nice job with that. Obviously, again, 5 red zone possessions, only 2, successful drives there. But when you look at, the fact that Malcolm Brown, was part of the 40 carries combined for the Rams, and they threw the ball 31 times. I mean, that means they had 71, opportunities there, 71 plays that they ran, and they kept it relatively balanced. And, on top of it, went 9 for 17 on third down, which I felt was huge.
Yeah, I thought that Malcolm Brown obviously was the most impressive back last night. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns. How could he not be? But also just the way that he looked against the Cowboys defense, I thought that he handled them the best. And I actually kind of feel like, with the emergence of Malcolm Brown and with obviously spending the 2nd round draft pick on Akers, I think that Henderson is the third back here. I think if you had to rank the backs, at least right now, you're going Brown, Akers, Henderson. That was just kind of what I got from last night. I thought that Brown and Akers performed better, but again, we're only 1 game into the season, so I think it's going to take a couple games to kind of figure out what exactly the Rams are doing at running back. But the running back by committee, it certainly works for them. They've definitely shifted that way, and I'm excited to see how it plays out the rest of the season. But let's talk a little bit about Jared Goff, because Jared Goff, I thought, looked a lot better last night than he did the majority of last season. He had his moments. There's a few plays that he made that I just thought were sloppy and, where he lacked awareness, but that's going to happen any game with any quarterback, most likely. So there's always room to improve, but I thought overall he looked better, which I love to see, because regardless of what people think, I actually do really like Jared Goff, and I do want him to do well, and I think he's gonna do great, and he's I'm cheering for him, and I really want him to do well. I mean, last season him and I were not seeing eye to eye, and we were sort of on bad terms, but we have reconciled. We're going into the second season open-minded and optimistic, and I hope that at the end of the season Jared Goff and I are best friends. But Jake, what did you think about Jared's game last night, and did you think that it was him playing well, or do you think it was him playing okay, but really more of the Cowboys just playing absolutely trash on defense?
Well, I don't know if I would say, the Cowboys were terrible on defense. I think the Rams came in with a plan. They were going to limit the opportunities that, this Cowboys team had to get to the quarterback. And while this offensive line was good last night, credit to Sean McVay and credit to Kevin O'Connell, the new OC in LA. I think they did a nice job of game planning for this one, very quick, dump offs to start off the game. And, I get it. People are going to be like, well, why are you, just dumping off, why are you just, bubble screens? This is literally last year, and, Goff's not throwing down the field. Is he limited? No, he's not limited. What is happening when they do stuff like that is they want to get the ball out quickly to keep Dallas on their toes. And when Dallas is going, they're going for 5 or 6 blitzers on Jared Goff and sending the house, you can just dump it off to Robert Woods, and his vision in space, his ability to run after the catch. And, furthermore, they have other guys that can do that. Tyler Higbee, Cooper Kupp, you have all sorts of guys, not to mention Malcolm Brown and the rest of the running backs. So when you have all those weapons, it's hard to not use them. And I like the overall game plan that they had, though, to keep Dallas on their toes on defense. This was a defense that efficiency-wise was number 1 in 2019, pass rushing. And yes, they lost Robert Quinn, but they added all sorts of weapons there on the defense. And while Gerald McCoy is out for the year, you saw guys like Aldon Smith really make an impact. And, Tristan Hill, especially their former 2nd-round pick, they've been really like him, and they've been waiting for him to take off. He showed some big-time flash last night. But, I really have to give it credit, though, to the way they handled the game plan, and it really made Jared Goff, in my opinion, look very good because he was able to be comfortable from the get-go.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, again, it's only one game into the season, so you never should judge how a season's going to go based off one game. If you play amazing, you shouldn't think you're going to play amazing the rest of the season. If you play horrible, you shouldn't think the team's horrible and you're going to play horrible the rest of the season. That's just something, it's good advice to just never judge how a team is based on one game. However, I do think that it's safe to say that based on what we have seen from the Rams offense last night, I would assume and am willing to bet that they're only going to get better. I think that they are still figuring out. There's some new pieces there. And I think that it's probably going to take them a couple games, but I do think that maybe by week 4, week 5, this offense, if they can get in a rhythm, I think that they are going to be pretty deadly. I would have liked to have seen Van Jefferson a lot more last night. We didn't really get to see a lot of him, but that's not completely unexpected because he is a rookie, and a lot of times with those rookie receivers, you don't see them right away. They want to kind of work you into the game the first few weeks. So yeah, I was really impressed. There was no, at least from what I remember, no Bryson Hopkins, but is he was
inactive. And then Tremaine Ingram was inactive, and then Burgess didn't get any snaps on defense, which was a little surprising.
Yeah, that's what's going to lead me into the defensive side of this, is because the defense, let's just be real, did not look great last night. There was a few bright moments. Aaron Donald had a sack. Michael Brockers had a sack. Jordan Fuller, the rookie, made a couple good plays. But overall, our defense looked like Swiss cheese. It was run city for Dallas. There was the thing that you and I have been talking about, and I think a lot of Rams fans have been talking about, is our linebacking core. The middle of our defense is just abysmal. People were just running through the field. I saw Dallas players breaking 3, 4, 5 tackles before they finally went down. It just didn't seem like we had it together in the middle of our defense. Our secondary, honestly, they seemed okay. Jordan Fuller actually stood out to me the most, the rookie. More so than, Jalen Ramsey, I think, had one good tackle. But other than that, I didn't really see anything from our secondary. But again, I'm not trying to be too negative about the defense, because again, it could be one of those things you really need to give it a few weeks to see if guys can, gel with each other and see if they can get it together. But it's certainly a concern. So Jake, what were your overall thoughts on our defense last night?
Yeah, I actually thought the defense was a lot better than I expected. Right off the bat, I'll just say, I think part of it was the game plan. I don't think this is the defense you'll see moving forward. I think they wanted to keep guys like Gallup and Cooper and Lamb in front of them. Didn't want anybody going up over the top like you saw at the end of the game. And in doing so, they played 5 yards off the ball at corner. They were very much going to go for the majority of the game with the nickel. We knew that. We had Jordan Rodriguez on the show. She explained that was, where they were going. Plus, we heard that repeatedly. But I thought the defense really came up to the task, in huge situations. First off, the 2 4th-down stops were huge. One of them being the Fuller play that, you highlighted. And then the 3 of 12 on 3rd down. This is a team that has Dak Prescott that can, move. He can get out and he can scramble. And the Rams did a nice job of containing Dak Prescott. He wasn't able to pick up those, like they went 3 of 12 from 3rd down. You would have think, a normal Dak Prescott game, he picks up 4 of those, on his own, and he wasn't able to do that. So, I was definitely impressed with the way, the defense held him. I think there were things to like about the defense. I think there are things that make you go, okay, you can definitely touch things up. The tackling was not good, in the middle of the field. I was actually more impressed with Micah Kiser as a coverage linebacker, surprisingly, than the tackling linebacker, the thumper. Remember, we kept hearing old school thumper when people would describe Micah Kiser's game, but I felt like Kiser was actually pretty solid in coverage. Jordan Fuller was fantastic to come in 6th round pick and start, or he didn't start per se, but I mean, he pretty much was a starter, played 98% of snaps. I mean, when you see, the way he was able to come in on Sunday Night Football, no less, and put up the game he did and lead the team in tackles and have the huge 4th down stop. I mean, that's beyond rookie play. I mean, he is so ready for the spotlight, and you can tell. I mean, he pretty much surpassed Rapp last night. Whether McVay wants to, mention it or not, it's not the injury. I think he actually surpassed Taylor Rapp. So, I think when you look at everything going on with the defense, they're going to be a lot different week 10 of the season. But I think they set the bar pretty high from where I expected, installing a whole new scheme. That's what I would say about the defense last night.
Yeah, and just seeing the play from Jordan Fuller, I honestly wouldn't mind the Rams trying 5 defensive backs, because if you think about it, you've got Ramsey and Hill kind of seems to be the top guy for that other corner spot. And then you could honestly do something where you have Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, and Taylor, or not Burgess. You would have probably Jordan Fuller, John Johnson, and Taylor Rapp at this point. But, Taylor Rapp seemed to kind of get the short end of the stick, I guess you could say, with Jordan Fuller coming in. We did not see a lot of Taylor Rapp, at least not as much as we did last season. I know that he had some struggles last season, but he also had some bright spots. But, just with the way that it seems our roster is panning out, I wouldn't mind seeing the Rams try the 5 defensive backs, because not only is that allowing us to have more talent on the field, then you've only got 2 linebackers, really, inside linebackers out there, maybe 3, depending if you do 3 or 4 up front or how you want to do that. But then it almost, in a way, takes pressure off of our linebacking core, which is the weakness of our defense right now.
Yeah, and I think we knew that coming in. We knew the defense, the biggest weakness. The only thing I felt I saw on paper that was an actual weakness was the linebacker group. And I thought Kiser was solid. I thought Kenny Young was somebody that, he can flash here and there, but he's not, I don't think he's a good starter. I think he's, serviceable at best. And then, you have guys like, and a name totally escaped me, our guy, Troy Reeder. You have guys like Troy Reeder, sitting on the bench waiting to play, who's had, 8 starts in this league under his belt. So, I mean, they don't have, anybody that's going to wow you. I would really like to see Samson Ebukam played as an inside linebacker. I think he's more athletic than anybody out there. And I think it would really be interesting to see him take off, because, I look at Ebukam and I know a lot of people are high on him, but I don't see anything extremely special from him as a pass rusher. And I think at the end of the day, if you're going to be starting him over a Ja'Kai Polite, who I saw, I felt was a first-round talent coming out of Florida, over an Obo Okoronkwo, who I had as a second-round talent coming out of Oklahoma, I just, to me, the way I see it is Samson Ebukam is more of a rotational pass rusher. He shouldn't be starting. And I think you saw that last night. Now, granted, he's going up against Tyron Smith, and that is a tough barometer there. I mean, he's one of the best tackles, but I just feel like they probably should have used Polite more based on the one snap he took last night. Was almost a sack. Would have been a sack if he had not been held by the face mask and the jersey. But that was his only snap of the night. So I felt like maybe you throw him in more. Like let's give Ebukam a shot, an inside linebacker, see what he has. They have not done that, and I've been asking him to do that for 3 years now. I think that might benefit him more. Instead of him being just a guy as an outside linebacker, maybe he turns into something.
Well, what if, and this is just obviously just me theorizing here and trying to think maybe a little outside of the box, maybe not so outside of the box. But like I said, with the 5 backs, because we have that kind of situation where we're kind of overloaded on the safeties, what if the Rams tried something where they did the 5 defensive backs and then they did 3 linebackers and 3 up front? Because they're already, doing 3 up front. And then you can move Samson Ebukam in that quote unquote outside linebacker spot, but really he could really go anywhere because you're really taking the pressure off the linebackers when you do that. So like I said, if you had Jalen Ramsey, Terrell Burgess, or Jordan Fuller with Taylor Rapp and John Johnson and Troy Hill in the back, and then you probably are going to rotate out actually Taylor Rapp and Terrell Burgess. So you probably have Jordan Fuller, John Johnson, and Taylor Rapp starting there. But then, you have your 3 best linebackers, really whoever they are, just throw them in that spot, because at that point they're not necessarily playing 2 outside linebackers and 1 inside linebacker. They're all kind of in a weird way inside linebacker, but then you have your 3 guys up front like Brockers Donald and Robinson or Sebastian Joseph Day, whoever that is. Do you think the Rams would try something like that just to maybe take the pressure off of the linebackers, give them a little help with that extra safety in there, and then you can mess around with guys like Ebukam and Leonard Floyd and Micah Kaiser, which would honestly probably be my 3 picks to start at the 3 linebackers at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd see them doing it. I wouldn't put anything past Staley at this point, because I think when you look at Staley's defense, the thing that makes it so exciting is we heard Ramsey could play safety. Troy Hill was playing the nickel last night. I mean, like, they're going to mix things up. Taylor Rapp was like a pseudo linebacker last night. He played more linebacker than safety anyway. They seem to really like Fuller, though, at the strong safety position and John Johnson at the free safety spot. Whereas Rapp plays and operates more around the line of scrimmage, which is good for him. That's his strength. The issue is in coverage. You can't really use Taylor Rapp. He is, I know Rams fans will probably disagree with me, but, just go back and look at last year. Taylor Rapp is a liability in coverage. He just is. So when you do that, I think on those downs, then I would put in, a Terrell Burgess or somebody along those lines that, you feel comfortable with on those downs, that is built like a safety, but can play, kind of that nickel, the dime backer, money backer role. So I don't think that they would go to like a 4-3 per se, which is kind of what you're saying, but not quite. It's more modified because I think they do want 2 guys on the outside. I know that in Staley's scheme, he likes the length. And I think that's the thing is, you saw those batted passes at the line of scrimmage. That is what Staley wants. He loves the length of Floyd because he is a very lengthy 6'5", 240, 250 guy that can get around the edge, and, he's going to be able to put his paws up there and bat a pass down. He wants guys with length off the edge and wants on both sides. I think the issue is Floyd is good, not great as a pass rusher. And he's a really good run defender. He sets the edge well. Ebukam, I think, is a solid run defender. I think he sets the edge well. But Ebukam's biggest issue to me has always been he just gets stymied at the line of scrimmage. He is not, a traditional pass rusher, for instance. He's not even the size that, Staley's looking for. Because I think, and neither is Ja'Kai Polite or Okoronkwo. It's actually Terrell Lewis, but they don't have Terrell Lewis available. Because he wants that longer pass rusher, the 6'5", 250 type of guy. And the Rams have more 6'2" type of linebackers with Okoronkwo and Polite and Ibukam, where they don't have that length that, Floyd has. And so I think for that reason, they're kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. We know Ibukam, we saw it throughout the offseason. He obviously, jacked up and got huge, but I just didn't see, Ibukam didn't look any different to me as a pass rusher last night. I think that's the thing that worried me. And not worried me, but just kind of made me feel like, why are you playing him and not giving an opportunity to, Polite and Okoronkwo?
Yeah. I think that the defense is going to be interesting to watch in the next couple of games, because I definitely think they're still figuring it out. I think they're seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And, I don't actually think that they would go to the 5 defensive backs, but I do think that it is an interesting concept because we have all of that talent and all those guys kind of at that safety position that we're not really sure how to handle, and I don't think that they're really sure how to handle too. So it's just something interesting and something I would keep an eye out for. But I don't know if that would be something that they implement as soon as next week. That might be later on. But yeah, overall, I was impressed with the way the Rams played. You and I have been talking about final score predictions. We both predicted that the Rams were going to win in a tight game, which is what happened. It wasn't a blowout. I thought it was a hard-fought game. However, I honestly think the Rams should have won by probably 2 more touchdowns. I thought that the Rams started off the game a lot hotter than they finished it. I thought that they definitely regressed as the game went on. But thankfully, they were able to pull out the win. And yeah, there's definitely things to correct. There always is going to be week 1. But, I think that the Rams are definitely in a good spot. I think they're almost in a weird way in a better spot than they were at the beginning of the season last year. I thought that they impressed me more. I thought that they played a lot better. And, next week they go up against another NFC East team in the Philadelphia Eagles. So that will be interesting as well. But we'll talk about that on our preview episode.
Yeah, and, I got to say, I am looking forward to that game. I think it's a huge opportunity for the Rams to go 2-0. Because what I want to say here is when you look at, for instance, you look at the Eagles and, you saw them lose to the Washington football team. I still can't get over that. But you saw them lose to Washington on Sunday.
Well, I've been saying that the NFC East is the worst division in football. I said that that podcast we were on, that the name escapes me, but the NFC East, I've been saying since the draft, since free agency, I just think is the least talented division in football. And we've seen that with us playing the Cowboys and seeing the Cowboys and then the Eagles football team game, which was just gross. I mean, it's just, that division is just gross. But anyway, sorry, continue your thought.
I think I almost said the bad word, but they're the Washington football team. I thought that they played well. They had 8 sacks on Carson Wentz. When I look at the Cowboys, see, I guess that's kind of my thing is, like, for instance, you look at the 49ers and they lost to the Cardinals. The Cardinals match up well with the 49ers. And my friend Michael King pointed that out. But, the 49ers always the Cardinals always match up well with the 49ers. So that win, we'll see how much merit that holds throughout the season. I know the 49ers are banged up. I know the Eagles are banged up, right? But, with the Washington beating them, it's like, I don't feel like the Eagles are that great. I felt like the Cowboys coming into this year were the best team in that division by a while. Like, I mean, I thought, the Cowboys can win 11 games, 12 games in this season. I'm not worried about the Cowboys as a football fan. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not worried about the Cowboys because they lost to the Rams by 3 points in a game that they were pretty much outplayed the whole time. And they had a chance at the end to win. I'm not worried about that team. But I think it says more about the Rams, and I've seen that brought up. It does say more about the Rams, the way they played against the Cowboys. I think way too many people, way too many analysts wrote them off. And I'll say that over and over and over again. I think way too many people wrote off the Rams. I've seen it tweeted out there that some people are starting to kind of agree with that sentiment. I just think, this team in 2019 in February was playing for a Super Bowl, and people were so quick to forget that existed, and it's like, I get they played the Patriots. I get the Super Bowl hangover thing, but Sean McVay is with the Rams. This isn't Jeff Fisher. This isn't Steve Spagnuolo. This isn't Scott Linehan. This is Sean McVay. This is somebody that, he came to the Rams, turned a 4-12 team into an 11-5 team, and then, soon after turned them into a 13-3 Super Bowl appearing team. So, I think that people were way too quick to jump off this train. And I think the Rams just kind of reminded everyone last night in the bright lights of SoFi. And keep in mind, you can't discredit that win because it was with no fans in attendance. So it's not like their home field advantage mattered. But, they did it in front of a huge audience, on Sunday Night Football. It's the biggest stage that you could have opening week. And they totally answered the bell. And I think that they should feel really good heading into week 2, week 3, week 4, and so forth.
I definitely agree. And especially kind of about how people have counted out the Rams, because, listen, after last season, there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed with this Rams team. And a lot of people have different opinions on how to fix it, what they needed to do, what they did, and whatever. But at the end of the day, I've always said that you really can't judge anything until you see it in a game. Especially this year, because there was no preseason games. We didn't get to get a preview of what the Rams were working on against other teams. No one did, not even opposing teams. So to be able to see the Rams go out and play well week 1 against a team, regardless if it's the Cowboys or not, I thought was really uplifting. I gave me a lot of optimism. I definitely think that they're gelling well together, and I hope that it's something that they can build upon, especially going into Philadelphia. And listen, I don't think that the Eagles are a good football team. We'll talk more about that next week. I don't think that they're good. I've been saying that they are going to be probably potentially a top 10 draft pick next year. I do think the Redskins will be one. I've said that. I know a lot of people didn't agree with me, but I think the Redskins are bad. But they did beat the Eagles. So we'll see. I think, but again, we can't go into this game thinking that we're going to win just because it's the Eagles. You have to go into every game wanting to play better than you did the last game, building upon your success. So yes, it's the Eagles. We'll talk more about it in the preview in the next episode, but I am hopeful that we can go in, get an easy win, and build upon what we've already done on the field.
I definitely hear you there, and I want to get one quick shot in there about the uniforms, because I gotta say, I thought the Bone uniforms looked pretty awesome on TV, but is it just me, or did the helmets look like the ram horn looked white and I'm not talking when they zoomed in, but when they zoomed out for the broadcast view, the stereotypical broadcast view, the side view, I felt like the horns looked white, and it, I don't know, it kind of bothered me. And I'm not anti fearsome foursome Rams look, but I just didn't understand why the horns look white. Am I going crazy, Alexis, or did you see the same thing?
I felt like the uniforms looked completely different colors from whatever angle you were at. I felt like, and again, maybe it was my TV, the lights in the stadium, they just didn't look the same color to me. I'd be watching the game kind of where the above shot, I don't know the exact name of the type of shot it was, but whatever, I'm watching the game, and then they do a zoom in of a different camera angle of a specific Rams player, and I'm like, why does the jersey look gray now, but it looked white from this view? And I just felt like there's a lot going on with the color, and I felt like the lights affected the color of the jersey. You're laughing at me right now and shaking your head. I don't know I guess it's just me. Maybe it's not just me, but I felt like The jerseys look different colors from all angles. But about the helmet is what I think you were referring to. Yes, okay. The helmet, I felt like I could tell that it was yellow, but I did not like the yellow with the bone. I would have preferred it to be like white horns. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into the jerseys because people know that I'm not like super high in the Rams new jerseys, especially the bone. I wasn't a fan of the bone. I'm still not a fan of the bone. I literally think it's looked gray last night, so I don't know what's going on, but it wasn't bad. Like, I don't think you're losing your mind. I do feel like for whatever reason under the lights, certain parts of the jersey looked different colors at different times. I could see why maybe you would think that the helmet looked white instead of yellow. I don't know. It's just weird. But like I was too nervous about the game to where the uniforms were just like, and I know you as well. It's like I wasn't looking too close at them, but it was a weird experience. Like I thought the bone came off weird under the lights.
I think that's what it was. It felt weird because they designed those uniforms specifically for how they would look on TV. So I don't know. That's kind of why I was like surprised. But yeah, we have an episode coming for you later on this week. We'll have a Eagles guest on. We don't know who it's going to be, but we'll get somebody on from the opposing team like we did. Dalton, I thought, took us into the game pretty well. Obviously, I'm sure he's bummed that the Cowboys lost, but it was nice to have him on. But that's going to do it from us. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, this has been the Downtown Rams podcast. It's episode 311. And if you can, go follow at the Alexis Kraft on Twitter and go let her know how great of a job she did with the intro.
Yes, or bad.
Or bad.
I thrive off constructive criticism, and it fuels me. So go do that.
Go do it. All right, guys. You guys take care. Go Rams.